Hello everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode we are going to look at how to play the Tier 10 American turreted TD, the T110E4. This tank is considered to be one of the easiest Tier 10 tanks to play with its high alpha damage gun and the fact that it is a TD with both armor and a rotating turret. This tank is also considered to be good for not only pub games, but for competition as well. So today, we will look at the armor of the tank, the mobility and gun, then we will look at how to set up and play the T110E4, and then we will close with some gameplay. So let's get started. Now the armor of the tank is exceptional for tier 10 TDs and heavy tanks, with the main weaknesses to watch out for being the lower plate and the cupola at 120mm and 152mm respectively. So try to hide these weak spots whenever possible, or at least be aware of them. Also be aware that this tank is an HE magnet. With a very large and weakly armored rear engine compartment, many tanks will not hesitate to gain extra damage by shooting your rear with HE. Now, the mobility of the T110E4 is alright. With 35 km per hour forward speed, you are not the fastest TD, but you will be able to keep up with heavy tanks and support them. The reverse speed, however, is absolutely horrible at 10 km per hour reverse. This means you'll be hard pressed to reverse out of danger or counter circle an enemy light or medium tank if they begin to circle you. Another bad thing regarding the engine is its high fire chance at 20%. This means you need to have firefighting skills on your crew, or at the very least, a fire extinguisher. Now, in regards to the gun, it is not bad by any means, but it is nothing special on the T110E4. While the accuracy is not the best at .37, it is not the worst either. Since the gun is a large caliber gun at 155mm, you can expect to have a long reload time with a rate of fire of 3.08 rounds a minute. The E4 also has 6 degrees of gun depression and 12 degrees of elevation. This means that fighting around or on ridgelines is possible, but not entirely the best idea. Now, how do you set up the T110E4? Well, in terms of consumables for my casual pub game setup, I run 14 AP, 10 APCR, and 3 HE for artillery or lightly armored targets. I also run a repair kit, a first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher because of my luck with artillery and high fire chance. But if your crew has firefighting skills, you could forego fire extinguisher and use food if you want, or any other premium consumables. Now, before we move on to equipment, due to the E4 having arguably the best premium round in the game, I should note that there is another option for ammunition setup. But it is costly and not recommended unless it is used for competition or because you have the silver to burn. This would be 0 AP, 20 APCR, and 7 HE for artillery or lightly armored targets. Everything else is up to you. For equipment, I use gun rammer, vents, and optics to improve my view range. As of right now, there are no recommended alternative equipment setups, as the suggested configuration has been, almost hands down, universally agreed to be the best configuration. Now, how exactly do you play the T110E4? I have found that the best way to play the T110E4 is to treat it like a high alpha heavy tank. While it may be classified as a TD, I have found that because the E4 has a rotating turret, it plays very similar to a heavy tank, and heavy tank players can feel right at home with this tank, brawling alongside other heavies. You could describe it as playing a boxier T110E5 with a weaker cupola but a larger, heavier hitting gun. This is the catch though. Your turret only rotates 180 degrees, and you are unable to turn your turret a full 360 degrees because of your engine deck. This means that if any tank were to get into your gun's blind spot and stay there, you are not going to last long at all. To compensate for this, make sure you are always at least with a battle buddy, or running with the heavy tank group works just as well. That concludes the overview of the T110E4. Now let's look at some gameplay. So the battle here is on Prokhorovka, a standard battle, um, and you can see here that I am spawned in the southern side of the map. Both sides pretty much have it's the same pretty much here on the 1 through 6 line, um, but the north side has a little bit of a better advantage with the big hill. Anyway, I'm looking here currently at the lineup, and what I do notice is that there's 3 enemy TDs on the other team that I need to be wary of. I'm sorry, 4 TDs on the other enemy team that I have to be wary of. But I also know that I do not have the gun depression to fight up on the ridge or to fight on the big hill. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go left, and I'm going to kind of play, at least starting out for a little bit, the TD role. So I'm going to go left. I'm trying to stay behind the bushes, trying to stay a little bit as far back kind of as I can while still being able to support the team. So I'm staying behind the bushes and everything here, minimizing my chance of getting spotted. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of ride this left side of the road just a bit. Going to try and double bush, so to say. I'm going to use some of these bushes right in front of me as a one camouflage, and then use the bushes on the other side of the road as my concealment as well to try and prevent me from getting spotted every time I fire. I'm way beyond the 15-meter like distance from a bush that you want to be for the camo to work, but it doesn't matter. The camouflage still works regardless. Now I'm watching the ridge for any tanks that try and get too brave to push up over the ridge, and I caught the ISM there, slam him in the face for about 700 damage. That was a good shot there. And right now I'm just kind of just waiting and everything, just trying to see what I can do. I'm still playing the TD role just a little bit, but I do spot the E3. It's just goes to show that I'm still able to spot tanks for myself, and I'm kind of playing it almost like I have it set up like a heavy tank almost, for the most part there. I hit the E4 right there in the lower plate for another 700 damage there. Good shot. I'm hanging around with my support being the 215B, while the M454, or the tier 10 tank right up there, French heavy, went up there to try and spot the tanks. He's riding around up there in the village town thing. Now, you're going to see here in this game here, while I just continue to shoot and punish people with this gun, that, the damage is not the highest that most people kind of like use as a respectable, amount of damage done in this game, in this tank. And, I understand that. I've only had the tank for about maybe a week, and I've only played probably just a good amount, but it's such an easy tank that I was able to figure out how to play it in less than the recommended 200 battles. But, what I'm trying to show here in this video, while the damage may not be the highest or the most impressive, is that I'm showcasing that the tank is fully capable of playing outside its designated role of a TD, and you can play like a heavy tank, and that is what you are to take away with this gameplay here. Ignore the damage done and all that stuff, but it's just to showcase that you can actually take this comfortably outside the, the designated, role of the tank, and be able to perform very well with it. Now, I've pushed up here with the M454, and what I'm trying to do here, while avoid shooting and wasting a round on the 54 here, is I'm trying to shoot the 704 with the damage, because it's relatively easy to deal with a 704, especially with a 155mm gun. Unfortunately, he did not, he hid behind the ridge there. He gets spotted again. I'm waiting for the reload. I'm getting some spot assists, some very nice spot assists. Punish him and take him down with one shot right there. Now what we're trying to do is we're fighting the 277. I am getting spotted. I'm getting targeted. I don't know if it's Artie or another tank back there that is targeting me. So I'm just trying to right now play the bush game. It happened to be Artie that was aiming at us. Probably was trying to get a bombardier or something right there. But he hits me and just does some damage. Trying to stay behind the buildings. Trying to use these bushes to help camouflage the large profile of my tank. There's the 277. I'm loaded. I'm going to pause. I'm going to try and aim. I hit for like 800 some odd damage there on the 277 with the 54 with his 130mm gun finishing off not even finishing off, but just dealing a massive amount of damage in a second follow-up shot onto the 277, bringing him down to a 1 health status for both of us. So what I'm doing now is, again, I'm taking the lead here. I've got the gun, I've got the health for the most part to be able to go and at least take a shot and then punish the 277. So I'm going to try and push up and deal with him. But what ends up happening is something else grabs my attention. A practically almost full health, or even a full health 705A that's right there exposed on the ridgeline. So I pause to try and take a shot, except it dives down too low and actually damages the tracks and tracks him. But sadly, again, before I can even get a second shot, he repairs his tracks, even also before I can get some track assist damage on the 705A. I was a little bit bummed about that. That was a good chance for a good amount of assisted damage there. So the 277 was taken out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to cross the ridge line here out in the open, because there's only 3 tanks left. Artie gets taken out. Here's an awesome shot. I snake a shot right there and track the E4, also dealing 800 damage to the E4, tracking him in place, and he stays tracked the entire time. He must have already burned his kit or had a brand new crew or not even repairs trained, and I just get nothing but assisted damage from that shot there. Absolutely great. In the end, I got a ton of assisted damage and a good amount, at least in my book, of damage dealt myself, and I walk out there with let's do some quick math. I walk out there with about 600 plus damage dealt overall. But again, it just goes to show that the tank can play outside its comfort zone. And that concludes today's video on how to play the T110E4. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.